Hi, this is Warren. Today, in our series on Why Aren't You Successful, we're going to deal with education. Well, not necessarily education in the context of going to school or attending a formal classroom type environment, but the process of continuing to learn about the areas of interest that you have in relationship to becoming more successful. Now, the oddest thing that I've found over the years in speaking to the hundreds or even thousands of folks I've spoken to over the years who have been looking to achieve some level of success in whatever endeavor that they're in so many cases, I've seen that continuing to learn about whatever area their interest is in is not a major issue for them. They want to start a business. They are looking to grow in a particular area, but when asked, well, what was the last book that you read in this particular subject matter, some of them could not really give you an idea what book they've read. Matter of fact, in some cases, you can ask some people, well, what was the last book that did you read? And you'll find that a lot of folks have an aversion towards reading. Now, reading is not the only way you can educate yourself about a subject matter. You can actually engage in some kind of capacity in that area or field of study or endeavor and learn on a practical basis more about that area you have an interest in. But reading a book tends to be one of the easiest ways to become familiar with a particular subject matter. So, you have to be in a position to open yourself to learning. See, learning did not just stop when you left high school. Learning did not stop when you left college. People who achieve tremendous success understand that you're always learning. You never stop. And the more you learn, the more you become familiar with an area or interest, the more successful you will be. Eventually, you will be looked upon as an expert in that field of endeavor. And that's where you really want to get to have a level of expertise to be recognized by peers in that particular industry, and to be able to offer that information if you're looking to create your own business, offer that information, your knowledge, the skill, to others wherein that they can learn and you can make an income and generate revenue from the information and knowledge that you have. It was interesting to learn that most CEOs of large corporations read at least one book per week. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world, from what I read, reads about 800 pages a day. And he's in his 80s. But he understands the importance of acquiring knowledge. As an investor, the more information, the more diligence you have, the more intel you have, the more you have available to your arsenal in relationship to making the right decisions to get the best outcome. So it's the same thing with you. If you're looking to become successful, you've got to acquire more knowledge. Now, many of you, one of the fears in acquiring knowledge is the cost. Let me tell you, in acquiring knowledge, you're going to have to pay. You're either going to use money coming out of your pocket, or you're going to use money coming out of someone else's pocket, but you're going to have to pay. Not all knowledge is free. And the more in depth you get into a particular area of interest, the more money you may have to spend to learn. Now again, it doesn't have to be book knowledge. It could be practical, hands-on knowledge. But let me give you an example. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to be a plumber, for argument's sake. Well, if you go and volunteer with a firm or a plumber to learn the trade, you don't need book knowledge for that. You don't need to be in a classroom for that. You apprentice yourself. And through the process of apprenticeship, you learn the trade. But that costs, because that's time that you're spending learning. Time is money. But the value in that is that at the end of the process, you've learned how to become a plumber. It's the same thing with becoming a corporate VP or SVP. Depending on what corporation you're in, you can find a mentor within that corporate body, apprentice yourself with that person, learn to model and mirror that person, and hopefully that person will be there to guide you through the minefields and help you up the corporate ladder. But that requires taking time. And that may be time that it's not doing your regular work hours, maybe after hours, maybe weekends. But it's going to cost. It may require you attending workshops and seminars and attending conferences where you can learn more information about the thing that you aspire to be good at. So don't be afraid to spend money. Many people that I've talked to and I consult and I counsel with, one of the hardest things for them to do sometimes is to spend money to learn. But I'm the first one to tell you, I'm constantly learning, and I will spend whatever money I need to learn about a particular subject. For those who know me, I speak quite well on a variety of subject matters. Finance, real estate. I'm kind of former CEO of a small oil refinery, oil and gas, healthcare, insurance. There are variety of industries that I've spent money and time to learn about those industries, because either I'm consulting someone or I'm engaged in some form of business activity in those areas. And any business I'm involved in, I must have enough knowledge that I can sit down with an expert and not sound like a moron or a fool. So I'm going to learn enough about that business that I have a good understanding about that business, but I can also discuss it with other people in that particular industry so I can gain more knowledge. And again, not sound like someone who doesn't understand the business. So I'm always learning. I'm always attending workshops and seminars. I do attend webinars. You see, the wonderful thing about technology today is there's so much information out there in so many areas of study. You can literally take a class online for Stanford, management courses. Now, they're not the actual certified and degreed courses, but they're still the same professors teaching some of the basic information about those subject matters. You can also do one for Harvard also. And there are varieties, if you probably search, there probably are other universities and colleges that have free adult education programs that you can learn about a particular subject. You can attend local universities, local colleges. There are also organizations that offer free workshops, community-based, that will educate you in a particular area. Those of you who are looking to start your own business, if you're like me, I'm not strong in accounting. I'm not strong in the day-to-day management of a business. So I hire qualified people to help me in those areas, and I bring in consultants to help me in those areas. But I also access universities and students in those universities who are trained in those particular areas. And some of them may be PhD level. Some of them may be master's level, that have this book knowledge that I can tap into. I remember when Henry Ford was being sued, and the prosecutor at the time, I guess the plaintiff at the time, knew that Henry Ford was not necessarily a book-smart guy. So I guess, if I remember correctly, as part of winning the case, he was going to confront Henry Ford in relationship to his knowledge base. Whatever the question he asked Henry Ford responded that I have a bank of phones and buttons on my desk, and any area of information that I need, all I have to do is press a button and an expert will show up and answer the question. You can eventually position yourself in the same manner. As a business person, you're going to learn, you're going to need to learn a lot of areas about managing businesses and growing business and expanding your business and so forth. But don't stress yourself in the fact that you need to learn everything. Don't become a jack of all trades. There's so many areas of your business that you can delegate out to others. That's where the technology comes in. Technology has changed that you can go online to organizations like Upworks and Fiverr, and there's a whole bunch of others that you can hire at a very low cost freelancers and experts in a variety of areas. But you still have to expand your knowledge base in relationship to your business. You still have to expand your knowledge base in relationship to your field of endeavor. Don't coast and think you're going to get by and become successful. That doesn't work. Because if you're not going to do it, someone else will, and that person who's doing it is going to eat your lunch. So it's important that you understand that expanding your knowledge, learning is paramount in relationship to obtaining any level of success in this society. And you never stop learning. Be consistent. Those of you who are adverse to reading, what I would suggest, crack open a couple of books in the area that you have an interest in and start reading. And you don't have to try to choke the whole book down in one session. Break it down into chapters and read. What you can also look for are if there are summaries on a particular subject area about that you can read and that summarizes the book, and if there's a need to go into more depth, then you can do so. Those of you who are more practical and hands-on, one of the best things you can do is volunteer. To avoid having to pay out of pocket, apprentice yourself out to someone in the area of endeavor. And don't be fearful. Be willing to learn. There are folks that are willing to teach and may need the help that you can offer. In exchange for that help, you learn and you become more familiar about that area of endeavor. Many of you who may be challenged and looking for work, and you're sending out your resumes and can't find a job, I will dare say that if you went to a company and offer yourself up as a volunteer to learn, and you show a good work ethic, there may be an opportunity for you to be hired by that company. And if not, you've gained valuable skills and knowledge that you can take to someplace else. Hard work ethic. Now, hard work does not mean you're breaking your back, because there's many jobs, hard work is a matter of using your mind, your brain. But a good, solid work ethic, being proactive, willing to go that extra mile, will go a long way. And being bold, as we mentioned before, and letting someone know that, listen, I'm willing to learn from you, and I will volunteer X amount of time in order to do so, because I feel that you can be a benefit to me as I can be a benefit to your firm. You'll find that many people will be very receptive to that. These are just some suggestions that I have on your road to becoming successful.